to
violent
attacks here in Nigeria. So it's one thing. Is there a Christian genocide? Don't just come out to debunk that, but make sure you carry out an investigation. Yeah. And if you're debunking that, you should come with fact. Now, the thing is, the U.S. have spoken about it, saying, you know, I give the president this ultimatum. If this isn't addressed, we invade Nigeria for a swift and a swift motion. Yeah. And if you know the U.S., they have never carried out a swift and a sweet what they call it, rescue mission or whatever it is. And the truth is, every country that they have invaded with the guise of sympathy and trying to reach out to these communities never remain the same. And when I say never remain the same, I don't talk about it from a positive point of view.
Okay.
However, we now see that the president and the political coffers are on their toes.
They are.
This is what we needed them to do from the start of this report. Carry out a thorough investigation as to what is responsible for the killings in different parts of the world.
Right.
Without coming out, before coming out to automatically say that it's not happening.
Truly.
Are we happy that the US is saying they are going to invade Nigeria? Mixed feeling kind of thing. Because maybe they are going to sort the problem out. Some analysts argue, you say they are going to come and exploit you, they're going to come and carry out all your natural resources.
Yeah.
Since you were in this country, how many of the natural resources has benefited you as an individual? Some analysts say that this is a trigger response because Dangote Refinery has come out to say we are expanding. We are going to cut short, you know, we're going to cut short supplies or export. We're going to put a heavy levy on exports just so that we discourage people from exporting or importing, rather, from importing fuel into Nigeria. That is going to put a lot of pressure to the US and other countries that depend solely on what we have. So you see, others say it's a trigger response. Others say that it is a, how do they call it? It is a takeover in disguise.
Okay.
No, we want, and you know, a lot of dimensions to this story. I personally had my head all full and blocked out throughout the weekend, just trying to catch up with the different perspectives and the different angles to this story. But like I said, it's going to be quite an interesting week, especially because the IG of police is wanted. How is an IG, an Inspector General of Police, wanted in active service? It's a lot, and I'm sure that this week definitely is going to have a lot that we need to talk about.
Of course,
look at that.
That's the story there, you know.
2 million naira bounty, and you
on.
know Nigerians they'll make a mess of the entire situation. Who has seen the Inspector General of Police? I need 2 million naira like ASAP. Let's just give intel and let's have him caught by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation. That is the face of the Inspector General of Police pasted there. And it's wanted. Well, if this country is not a showroom, then I pretty much don't know.
Definitely, the story is still developing. We'll keep you updated as well on how the whole thing pans out. And we hear that the president of Nigeria will be traveling down to the United States tomorrow to meet with the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, and other government officials regarding the threat, of course, that the United States has made, you know, to Nigeria, talking about the fact that they're going to invade Nigeria if our Nigerian government do not act swiftly, talking about the Christian genocide saga. You know, of course, we are going to be discussing that extensively in the 9 o'clock hour. But the other developments in the country, just like Martha stated, this week is packed. We hear that the resident doctors in Nigeria, they are still on strike as they rejected, you know, about 11.9 billion naira payment that the government said that they have paid to the resident doctors. Resident doctors came out to say that many of the hospitals have not received a dime. Therefore, they are going to continue with their strike. What that means is that patients all across Nigeria will continue to suffer because doctors are on strike. And they've not been able to have a full-time compromise with the government of Nigeria. Now we have various issues going on in Nigeria. We have ASO still going back and forth with their strike issues. I hear that ASO will be going back on strike again anytime soon, you know, as it is. The resident doctors are on strike. Other situations, also record the story of the coup, you know, where the Nigerian military came out to say there was no coup plot anywhere in the world, in Nigeria as it is. The Nigerian government came out to say, well, we stand by what the Nigerian military has said. Sometime last week, we saw that the Nigerian military invaded the house of the former governor of Bayelsa State and arrested his brother and the driver. Currently, the driver and the brother of Temitope Silva are still in custody. And the whole talk is around investigating the alleged coup plot. They said they are trying to find out if he had meetings with other political actors, you know, as regards the alleged political coup plot, you know, that the military debunked in Nigeria. And they will keep asking the question, if you said there was no coup, why are you arresting people? Why are you investigating a coup plot that you said never existed? These are questions that we're asking, and of course, we've not really gotten the answers so far.
Since we're talking about coup, Guinea-Bissau falls alleged coup plots and arrest army officers, including the military court, the ex-president. And I always like to talk about trajectories because all of a sudden, African countries are starting to plan coup, and the military is trying to take over power. Many other African countries, you see them, you know, planning a coup. It's either it's foiled or they're taking over, and different parts of the world. It only says that there is something about the African system of leadership that the people are revolting against. And it is important that we pay attention to these right now. We want to hold on to power so long. You know, I always like to quote Chinua Achebe. He says that things fall apart, the center can no longer hold. Before it gets to the point where everything falls apart, readdress your system of leadership in the African system. Do not hold on to power too long, which is one of the things that a lot of Africans are revolting against. I think on Friday we did like an analysis of what is going on in Cameroon currently, and we see how also in Tanzania we see demonstrations, we see revolt, we see protests erupting around African countries. It just says something. They need to be attention. They need to pay proper attention to the African system of leadership. Now, also we see the happenings in Sudan. Now, very gory and horrific sights. You know, all of the pictures and the videos that have come up from that part of the world, you know, exploiting people. The RSF has been accused of, you know, violating people's rights, you know, mass killing, genocide going on in Sudan. You know, and you'd see videos out talking about how Dubai is responsible for this, because the RSF, of course, is a Dubai-based military force or whatever. Now, situated in Sudan, carrying out all of these killings in Sudan, exploiting Sudan of its natural resources. And if you see the kind of resistance that other analysts have been speaking about, it's particularly because look at mirror Sudan and look at what is going on currently in Sudan. These people invaded the city and are exploiting the city of their natural resources, which is gold. Dubai is known for luxury lifestyle, luxury jewelries, but they do not have any of such natural resources. How are they the richest in this when they do not even have it in their country? See, there is something out there, there's something in the air, particularly different parts of the world, where there is going to be a mass resistance of oppression in states, in government, in politics, in different spheres of our social strata. You would see a certain level of resistance. Now, I for one, is not proud about how Nigeria has been addressed throughout the weekend. A state of disgrace, a country of particular concern, you know, ex-Nigeria, all of that put us in the light of, set us up for to be a laughing stock and to become a caricature to other parts of the nation. Nigeria can be great, but we cannot deny the fact that our leaders have brought us to the point where we now are a laughing stock to different parts of the world. They need to redress their steps, and they need to think through their actions, because, I mean, in the next couple of weeks, we don't know what is going to happen, but we see the story unfold. I hear that there's a special committee from Nigeria going over to the US to be in talks with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Let's see how that goes. And let's see how they are able to resolve whatever it is that is brewing right now.
Of course. And then finally, recall that Bayelsa State Governor resigned from his party. We saw on the news today that he has moved down to the APC. And of course, he cited that his move to the APC is because he's putting the people of Bayelsa State in the forefront. It's not all about his personal political ambition, but all about putting the people of his state in the forefront, looking out for what is best for Bayelsa people. And of course, that being said, this is all we're going to be taking on this very update this morning. I will just give you a quick rundown of what to expect on the program this morning. First off, we start off with Today in History, where we'll get to give you or dig at deep histories and stories that shaped and continue to shape the world that we live in. Away from Today in History, we'll move straight to a new study, where we'll get to unearth discoveries and breakthroughs that are reshaping our understanding of the world. And from new study, we'll move straight to Did You Know, where we'll get to review surprising facts, hidden truth, and little known wonders that spark curiosity and expand your perspective about the world that we live in. And from Did You Know, we'll move straight to health tips, your daily dose of wellness wisdom, from smart habits to expert-backed advice. And off from health tips, we'll move straight to Tech Talk this morning, where we'll get to give you the latest trends in the world of technology. And away from Tech Talk, we'll move straight to the 7:30 hour, where we'll bring you the papers and the review. Of course, we get to give you your window into today's stories, reviewing the Nigerian dailies. And of course, at 8 o'clock, it will be time for the Human Chronicles, so we'll get to tell you stories, behind humanity. And by 8:30, Victor Ijoma is going to be here to bring you the latest scores, thrilling highlights from the world of sports, all of the sporting activities that happened during the weekend. Victor Ijoma is going to be here to give you all of the updates. And at 9 o'clock, we're back here for the big conversation. And trust us, today is packed. Lots of conversations already outlined today, and you want to be part of this conversation. So as much as possible, try not to miss any segment of this program this morning. But right now, we're going to break. When we'll come back, it will be time for Today in History. And of course, do not get anywhere.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nightcomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language, from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Welcome back. You're still watching Rapid On right here on Rapid Television. Right now, let's move straight to the first order of the day, starting with Today in History. And on this day in 1978, the beautiful Caribbean island of Dominica gained its independence from Great Britain. So yes, today Dominica gained independence from Great Britain, marking a pivotal moment for the Caribbean nation. And we say happy independence to the Republic of Dominica this morning. Yeah.
All right. Happy independence. Today, since we're talking about independence, right? Today I saw part of still on the trends of the talks about the entire Nigeria, this and that and that. Someone said Nigeria was supposed to gain independence by 2000. That we probably got our independence prematurely.
Come on.
That's what he said. Solomon Buchi, we got it prematurely. It should have been in the 2000s. And I'm like,
come on.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
I bet he doesn't.
Your forefathers are definitely going to curse you for that statement, because they went through a lot
to fight for that independence.
A lot, but
and and he's enjoying the independence right now.
We're happy that we're here. This is not the best place to be. This is not the mark we should have or we should be at. I mean, over 50 years later, we're still, struggling with basic things like flyovers and roads and what have you. It's not the best place to be in, but freedom is somewhere. Right. Now let's look at what scientists are discovering for today. And it says that new study finds that eating eggs or eating more than one egg. New study. We're talking about new study. Now the new study says eating more than one egg per week causes Alzheimer's syndrome. risk by 47%. I always find it difficult to pronounce that S factor. But yes, it has the Alzheimer's syndrome. It cuts it by 47%. What if we eat it one egg per day? It will cut it by how many percent? Man. But egg it's a protein and it's super important. But according to them, this was published in a journal of nutrition. He found out that older adults who ate more than one egg per week had 47% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Now, researchers attributed that about 39% of this benefit to choline, an essential nutrient that is concentrated in egg yolks that supports memory, learning, and brain cell communication. And this is why it's also important for young children to also eat eggs, particularly the yolks, because it helps in their brain development. But this is a welcome development. If you have an aged parent, aged family member or friend, it's important that you integrate eggs into their diet as much as possible.
Please do that. And you know, a lot of people use that excuse that egg is expensive right now, pretty much expensive, you know. But as much as possible, you know, just try to eat egg as much as you can. You know, away from there, let's move straight to Did You Know? And yes, we're traveling down to France as we see that in France, unsold bakery bread is often placed in public boxes so people can take it for free instead of going to waste. You know, we see that bread is such an important part of daily life that bakeries, you know, called boulangeries, they bake fresh loaves every single day in France. But instead of throwing away the unsold bread at the end of the day, many of them now place it in special public boxes so people can take it for free. According to them, it's a way of also helping. First of all, you don't get to waste the food, and secondly, you get to also give out to those that cannot afford to buy bread, you know, the poor household, as much as possible. I even hear that there is an organization there in France that maybe at the end of the week, you know, they take that bread and then they have this data that they can move to some of the households and then distribute the bread to those particular families. And as much as possible, it has been helpful in a way to these persons. And for the entire year, France wastes around 150,000 loaves of bread. Waste, yeah. Really? That's a waste, you know, for the entire year. Now with this right now, that number has reduced drastically, and that's what it is.
And you know, France, Italy, Paris, and France, the one place they are particular about food. You know, their movies. If you watch their movies, they are particular about food. Their restaurants, you know, they're very meticulous about who gets the 5-star, who gets the 1-star or the 2-star. Yeah, if you see their movies, you'd really love it. So I can understand why they would not want to eat stale bread, because most times they do the a la carte kind of serving in their restaurants. But yeah, that's good to know.
Of course. Dr. Martha, what are your health tips?
Yes. You know, when they say this person, hearing loss. Today, we're understanding hearing loss. Now, what is hearing loss? We have a lot of people who will tell you, I hear from this side of my ear, I don't hear from this side of my ear. And one time I got a new device, and when I was trying to like set up the device and everything, they would ask you, what part of your ears do you hear with the most? I didn't know it was a thing, you know, and they'll tell you to put this here, listen to it, put that there, listen to it, and it tells you listen better with the left side of your ear or the right side of your ear. And I found out, you know, trying to set up that device, that I listen better with my left ears. So just screaming there, I'll probably hear better. But yes, a lot of people still have hearing impairments, and today we'll be talking about what hearing loss is about. Now, first of all, it is hearing loss occurs when there is a problem with one or more parts of the ear. Now, the nerves coming from the ears or the part of the brain that controls hearing. This can be temporary or permanent, mild or severe, and affects people of all ages. Now, what are some of the common causes of hearing loss? First of all, long exposure to loud noise. You are always in a loud space. You are always found where there is no quiet. You see
music and all.
Yes, and some people put in earbuds, earpiece, listen to music the whole day. I know music is such a therapeutic thing to do, but sometimes you want to listen to it on speaker rather than on your AirPods. Now, common causes of hearing loss also is ear infections or injuries. Aging, which is natural. Aging comes with natural hearing decline. earwax buildup. Some of you don't clean your ears. Earwax buildup. Earwax is not such a bad thing to have in the ear because
Yes.
there's a reason it's there in the first place, right? But if there is a buildup of wax in the ear, it becomes a threat to your hearing.
True.
So these are some of the common causes. Also, certain medications, they call it ototoxic drugs. Now, genetic factors or birth complications, because I know that there are certain people who, after childbirth, they lose hearing, the ability to hear on one ear, on both ears as well. Some people, their eyes, some people come up with vitiligo, some people with cerebral palsy. Different people have different reactions, you know, to pregnancy or childbirth. So for some, it becomes permanent. For some, it's very reversible. Now, what are the signs to watch out for? Now, frequently asking people to repeat themselves. What do you say? What do you say? Come again. You see? Now, turning up the TV or radio too high, otherwise you don't hear. Then difficulty understanding speech in noisy places and ringing in the ears. Yes, tinnitus. This particular one, I think we have dealt with it here one time. On the Rapid Dawn, on the health tips, on Rapid Dawn, where you constantly hear a sound in your ear, whether or not someone is speaking to you, whether or not there's a sound anywhere, you constantly hear that sound. And for some people, this causes them, they can't sleep. Imagine going to sleep and you are hearing a sound constantly in your ear. Some people cannot sleep. And that's why you see streaming platforms like Spotify and other music streaming platforms, they have come up with soothing sounds that can help ease the pressure of what the person feels at the time and takes them right to where they can have a good night's sleep. But yes, these are signs to watch out for. If you constantly experience tinnitus, this also is a sign that your ears might be telling you to go check it. Now, avoiding conversations or social gatherings just because you find it difficult to hear. Now, what are the prevention tips? If you happen to, prevention is better than cure, of course. I need to add that line every single time. Prevention is better than cure. So what are the prevention tips so that your ears can be healthy and safe? Now, limit exposure to loud noises. Limit exposure to loud noises and use ear protection, earplugs or ear muffs in noisy areas. I know that some people, while they are flying, because of that, sometimes there's that noise that comes from the aircraft, you know, some of these people would not hear properly for a few hours or maybe a few minutes after they are on board the plane, so they can't hear properly. So most people who experience such things while they travel, it's important that they take earbuds with them, because this also, over time, experiencing this over time can affect your hearing conditions, because again, one of the major things that causes ear problem is being exposed to loud noise for a long period of time. Also, use ear protection. I think we already said that. Avoid inserting objects into your ears. While it's important for you to clear your earwax sometimes so that there's not a build up there, it's important for you to be extremely careful in doing that as well. The way some of you put that thing in your ear, I'm scared for you. I'm scared for you. So it's important to be careful while you want to clean up your ears or clean up the wax so that it doesn't build up. It's so important that you are careful as well. And there are earbuds, right? It's important that you use the right thing to do that. Not the cover of your pen, not chewing stick, nothing. Those earbuds are actually really soft because they have cotton wool at the tip of it. You put it in your ear, it's soft, it is mild, it will not hurt you. But you see your toothpick, your pen, it can bruise your ears, and you would now, rather than taking out the wax, you will now even cause more problem to yourself than what was already there. Now, keep your ears clean and dry at all times. Go for regular ear checkups, especially if you are in a noisy work environment. You know, people that work on site, in the quarries, people that are exposed to noise on a daily basis because of their job description. It's important that you go check your ears regularly, or you find ways to protect yourself from ear problems. This is pretty much what we have for you today on Health Tips.
Thank you, Dr. Martha. I beg hear word today. Let's move straight to Tech Talk this morning, and let's begin with what is happening in the world of technology. We hear that the Ministry of Environment has gone digital in Nigeria. And so the Federal Ministry of Environment, they have started a new tech project called the OneGov Cloud Digitalization Program in partnership with Galaxy Backbone. They launched it in Abuja. The minister, Balarabe Abbas Lawal, said that the goal is to make the ministry's work faster, cleaner, and smarter using technology. He explained that going digital will help the ministry store data safely and also reduce the use of paper, cut down costs, and even lower carbon emissions, within the ministry. And according to them, this move is part of the government's plan to connect all ministries on one digital platform so they can share information easily and work better together. So in simple terms, Nigeria's Ministry of Environment is now going paperless, using technology to protect both people and the planet. And over time we've had this conversation here that Nigeria is still using the obsolete pattern of sharing data and information, especially when it comes to ministry, moving one file from one office to another, and that has become something that is not supposed to be here anymore because it is an alien practice in the area of technology. And right now we're seeing that some of these ministries are beginning to adopt technology, and that's what we're having here with the Ministry of Environment going digital with their tech startup or their tech project called the OneGov Cloud Digitalization Program. I would do hope that this can be effective and well implemented, that we can see all of these ministries actually using the internet or technology to connect all of their information together. And we hope that there are times we talked about the fact that NIN, BVN, all of this data, you don't need to, at every point in time when you need to register for something important, you begin to look for all of your, we can just get onto one central system. Once your name is being clocked into the system, they see everything that has to do with you, and that way it's easier for you to just go on and make your applications, other than always bringing all of your details to new platforms on a daily basis. And
it will even curb insecurity, the insecurity we're talking about. You see, for you to commit crime in certain parts of the world, you need to be like extremely intelligent, because they have a system that checks out even to the tiniest of details of these people. Imagine at the time when we were talking about Charlie Kirk, who recently was murdered while he was at a debate and what have you. Now they were able to trace some of this rifle, trace some of the bullets somewhere, because it's from a shop. When you get that, your name is registered as the owner, licensed owner of that weapon. Now the bullets you buy, there is a long list of people who have purchased that. So when it's time to investigate, you're not starting the investigation afresh or from scratch. You have an existing data to work with already. So if we want to work on the security situation, or we want to curb insecurity and some of the criminal activities that go on in our country, this is one of the easiest ways: centralized data system where people can be identified by number, by tags, or however the government deems fit.
Of course, moving on from that, just imagine, Martha, open up your ChatGPT application and you're placing an order for maybe your new wig, using ChatGPT. no longer asking ChatGPT for those educational questions, but right now you can actually buy stuff using ChatGPT, and that's what we're seeing happening with PayPal, as they are partnering with OpenAI, to add its digital wallet to ChatGPT. And what this means is that people will now be able to buy things directly inside ChatGPT just by chatting. And I think it's quite interesting. According to them, this plan starts next year, and both PayPal users and online sellers will be able to connect through the platform. And PayPal CEO Alex Chris said that millions of users will soon see a buy with PayPal button inside ChatGPT for easy and safe payments. And according to them, this move actually follows OpenAI's new feature called Instant Checkout, which already lets users in the US find and pay for products from sites like Etsy without leaving the chat. So again, in simple terms, ChatGPT is turning into a smart shopping assistant, helping you search, choose, and pay in one smooth chat. And I think again, it's getting more interesting what you can do with OpenAI and ChatGPT. Recall that sometime last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the fact that people are going to be paying more, using the OpenAI applications, especially the paid applications, as it is. And now, with all of this introduction, PayPal trying to cash into it as well for Nigerians here. Wherever you are in Nigeria, probably you might be able to just have a chat with ChatGPT and you can get anything that you want to get being delivered to your doorstep. Quite interesting.
Welcome
quite
to the
scary.
era of impulsive buying.
You know,
Yeah,
it's only impulsive buying. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But that's all we have for you on Tech Talk this morning. Of course, this is all we're going to be taking for this segment. We'll go out on a break now. We'll come back to be time for the papers and the review. Do stay with us.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umuahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Caesar Radio.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Welcome back. You're still watching Rapid Done right here on Rapid Television. Right now it's time for the paper review, and we're starting with the Nigerian Tribune. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria projects 3.1% real growth, 10.2% contribution to GDP in 2026 as they call for approval of 1 trillion naira stabilization fund, expansion of BOI capital base. And troops kill terrorists, arrest 20, rescue 17 kidnapped victims. CPPE endorses 15% fuel import duty, says policy will catalyze local refining industrial growth. And contrary of particular concern, what it means for Nigeria. Page 3 and 4, you're going to see details of that story. And some of the writers says economic sanctions, international isolation, ban on IMF, World Bank loans, others. And Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab designated entities of particular concern in 2023. And President unable to meet Trump over Christian genocide claim, according to the presidency. And U.S. should assist with technology to combat insecurity. Kwankwaso is making the statement. And Tinubu should convene meeting of past Nigerian leaders, according to Lamido. Away from that headline, PDP crisis, uncertainty over control of National Secretariat. Anxious stakeholders, staff members fear possible clash. This is coming from the PDP, and they've been having the crisis for quite some time now. And Tinubu's economic reforms essential for Nigeria's growth, according to Okpebolo. And if you look at the health column, dance alleviates perceived symptoms of depression, according to study. It says dance alleviates perceived symptoms of depression. So if you're feeling depressed, maybe a little dance could help you, get away from that state of depression. Well, these are the headlines you can find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. And the headline there says that 12 Nigerian governors and other officials may face U.S. sanctions. Government officials, judges risk asset freeze in the new U.S. law. Tinubu, U.S. VP, may meet amid tensions. And you see, these governors, about 12 northern governors, prominent traditional rulers, and senior judges as well, are the center of looming diplomatic storm, as this United States Congress considers a bill that could impose like far-reaching sanctions to them over alleged complicity in what American lawmakers describe as Christian genocide. So like I said from the start of the show today, they are pretty much putting a lot of political stakeholders on their toes. Now, this is after the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern by Donald Trump. An investigation started. Trump gave his instruction to the Secretary of State, which is Marco Rubio, to act without delay. Now, on Friday, in a post on Truth, right, lamented thousands of Christians were being killed in Nigeria. Now, asked the Congressman Riley Moore, together with the chairman, Tom Cole, and the House of Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into the matter and report back to him. That is Donald Trump now. Now, the Religious Freedom Accountability Act, sponsored by the Republican senator, which is Ted Cruz, designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. That was when the report was given to Donald Trump. Right after that, this bill, the long and short of the bill is just most of these governors might lose their assets outside of Nigeria under the guise, under the claim of their affiliation with the Christian genocide currently ongoing. Now, you see, like I said, we might not completely buy the idea of an invasion by the United States of America. However, some of these measures are things that they would have done prior to now,
of course,
when we complained, because that's the question. Why now? Why now? When a lot of Nigerians were complaining of the fact that Nigeria is being exploited by these leaders, you know, the wealth of the country is on an imbalanced scale, where it goes to the rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer. You know, there is no proper distribution of the wealth and the resources of the country. So at that time, these seizings or whatever it is could have been done, but why now?
You know,
that's the major question that lots of analysts, of course, and public stakeholders will definitely ask the United States of America. Let's go on with some of the other headlines here about the coup controversy, which you talked a bit about that from the start of the show this morning. Silva's brother and driver are still in custody as we speak after that invasion into their home last week. You find that on page 7. Definitely want to take a look at the full story. Now, student loan applicants hit 1 million. That's what Nelfund says. Page 3, 1 whole million, which means we have lots of people who are willing to go get formal education. The problem all along has been finances, funds, resources. But what I of course I would encourage the government to look into again is providing the basic, the foundation of education, which is the primary and secondary school. At least this should be free, and then the education, if you have the tertiary institution, you know, if they have the loans that they can access from Nelfund, I mean, it's easier to change the living condition of a people. You must educate them, and if you educate them, there is a significant progress or a significant growth in the way that they think and in the way that they act. So that's a welcome development. 1 million students is quite a stride for Nelfund. Now, doctors dispute federal government's 11.9 billion naira payout, and the strike continues. NDLEA arrests a musician and uncovers Lagos illicit drug laboratory. That's on page 5 also of the Punch newspaper. Diri joins APC today and cites Bielsa's interest. He was going to join APC all along. You know. So what was the reason for the whole silence?
You know, suspense.
The whole suspense. What was the reason? We all knew he was leaving the PDP to join the APC. So, but anyways, PDP crisis also. Makinde bloc regroups as Autumn Fayose back Wike. That's on page 7. And this is pretty much it for the Punch newspaper. Interesting headlines. You definitely want to take a look.
Let's move straight to the Guardian newspaper. Trump's warning unsettles Nigeria, raises concerns over religion sovereignty. Page 6 of the Guardian, you're going to see details of that story. And how DSS aborted Otomi's aberrative shadow cabinet through legal process. NRC train derails 189 times 3 days after resumption. NRC train derails 189 times 3 days after resumption. That is to say that the Nigeria Railway Corporation needs to do a lot more work to ensure that the train system is safe for everyone who intends to use the train system, because for the 189 time, just 3 days after resumption, another delay has happened there, so they need to work better. Well, resident doctors, federal government clash over 48 billion naira arrears as strike paralyzes hospitals nationwide. And you decries surge in attacks, impunity against journalists. Well, these are the headlines you can find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper.
All right, let's look at the Daily Sun, and the headlines say PDP plot survival strategy. Governors and board consider caretaker committee option, intensify efforts to resolve crisis. You see, anytime I see caretaker committee, on the news, and let's take a look at the local government. It's just recently that they were able to clear out this whole caretaker committee thing, where certain people are being given the mandate to care for the local government before people are being elected. In places like Kogi State, the caretakers were in office for well over 4 years.
They've served the full tenure.
Full tenure, well over 4 years, but they were not mentioned, either the local government chairman, the treasurer, or what have you. They were just called caretakers, and they spent a lot of time there. It's the same thing with different parts. I think in Osun State, I think they created a caretaker committee to oversee the affairs of the local government, but now it's PDP wanting to do a caretaker committee, a strategy to sneak someone in before they know it. But yes, both the governors and board consider caretaker committee option and intensify efforts to resolve the crisis. The crisis in the PDP has been on for far too long, from the convention to different blocks, trying to present who should be the chairman, who should be this or that within the party. But if a caretaker committee is going to help or be a reasonable step towards resolving the problem in the PDP, which I doubt 100%, then they should go ahead. They should go for it, absolutely. But you see, the fact that it has lingered for long, it makes me wonder whether they are ready for the 2026 or 2027 cycle of elections. Because if your house is not in order, who do you want to represent? Who do you want to present as a candidate at the end of the day? When there are different blocks. I mean, same thing with the Labour Party as well. There are different blocks, everybody saying something different. No unism or no unity of thought or coordination of thought within the party. But yes, they are moving towards resolving the problem. Let's see how that pans out for them.
My fingers are crossed anyways. If you look at PDP's challenge, started from 2023, if you recall, during the presidential election in 2023, that was when their division started, and up until now, they're supposed to have their convention in this month, November. We doubt if that convention is going to happen with all of these saga going on in the party, and that's supposed to be the strongest opposition party in the country. Right now, they aren't. I doubt it.
I doubt it. But anyways, Igbo group in the U.S. faults Kanu's continued trial. And ASU rejects the federal government proposed 35% salary increase for varsity lecturers, insists on a NIMI Briggs salary benchmark. Also, rising costs, a weak demand squeeze Nigeria's brewers. Joining APC in Bielsa's interest, says Governor Diri. And the state making progress due to unity Oboraveri. Then Zenith Bank post 917.4 billion naira profit before tax. Earnings hit 3.37 trillion naira. These and many more you would find on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Daily Sun, you mean?
Or Daily Sun newspaper.
Let's move straight to the Daily Trust this morning. Nigerians denounce U.S. invasion threat. Nigerians denounce U.S. invasion threat.
When you say denounce, what do they do?
Basically, they are trying to reject that. They are trying to reject the threat, not welcoming the threats by the United States as it is. You recall when we talked about it earlier, we talked about the different sides of the story. People have their different sides to that particular story. But here, Daily Trust captures that Nigerians are denouncing the U.S. invasion threat as it is. Well, let's move to Kano State. Senator Baru receives over 1,000 NMPP Kwankwasia members to APC.
Kwankwasia members,
Kwankwasia members to APC. Wow. All right. So let's see what happens for them as well come 2027. Because it seems like the NMPP was the strongest party in Kano State.
Actually.
It still is the strongest party, and of course that is the party that Kwankwaso is currently a member of, as it is. The Magum Ayaon factions plan PDP headquarters takeover today. The Magum Ayaon factions plan PDP headquarters takeover today. The other headline says they're trying to create a committee and with their BOT for them to have a compromise. Now we are seeing, of course, on this other headline here says that the Magom Anyanwu factions, they are planning a takeover, on the PDP headquarters today. Vacuum looms at neck as chairs confirmation stores, and Warwick Takbe train derails. And that's where we had on the other paper saying, of course, that for the 189th time, the Nigerian Railway Corporation, they've had that derailment for quite some time.
They just fixed this thing.
I'm telling you, 3 days.
Last week, they came out to say this has been resolved.
Right.
It is now fully in operation, and we will not have any of such derailments. And then shortly after that,
3 days after that, that's when we're having this particular derailment, and that's why we're calling on them as well to do better. I mean, we need to revive the trust in Nigerians using the trade system for travels, and if we keep having this derailment, I mean, the trust is going to dwindle so much. So please do better, especially for those using that transport system.
Are you going to get in the train?
Well,
it's dwindled already.
It's dwindled. Quite sad. But of course, Anambra governorship elections, police deploy helicopters, drones in Anambra State. Of course, the election is going to happen this weekend, I think Saturday to be precise. Patients stranded, discharged as resident doctors strike. Patients stranded, discharged as resident doctors strike. And this strike, we don't see it coming to an end anytime soon, unless the federal government, of course, the resident doctors of Nigeria really come to a compromise pretty soon. But this is all we can take on the Daily Trust this morning.
All right, let's take a look at the Business Day newspaper. And the Business Day newspaper says new tax law promised relief for freight operations, and land prices jump in the southeast on improved security. How Bayelsa achieved 250% tax boom and how laws may affect it. Right at the top of the Business Day newspaper, you see Trump's invasion threat raises risk for Nigerian assets. And this and many more you would find on the Business Day newspaper. Please do well to grab a copy and explore the full stories as much as possible.
All right, on the Punch Extra this morning, Osimhen, Onuachu tag each other best striker. They had a face-off sometime over the weekend. And Osimhen and Onuachu, they were very much instrumental to their various clubs, and here they are calling themselves best striker each. And DR Congo named strong squad for World Cup playoffs, and Hen hints at Joshua versus Paul before 2026. Rashford continues in fine form in Catalan's win. Of course, Rashford has been on loan to the Barcelona side. From the look of things, we just might be seeing a permanent move, into Barcelona, by Rashford. And then we see Haaland double sends Citizens second. And Arsenal plot new Saka deal. Well, Saka, we need in Arsenal, we just might be extending your deal right there as well. And Maresca heaps praise on James. Van Dijk slams Liverpool critics. And Yamal part ways with Argentine girlfriend, and we hear that he's back in the field of play, back in action as well. And of course, if you look at the borderland, they're going to see Stoners in form. Imade fire Sociedad past Barcelona, and Inadoze concedes 3 as United beat Brighton over the weekend. And Bolaji wins para badminton silver in Indonesia. These and many more you can find on the front page of the Sports Extra this morning. Yeah.
All right, just to take our minds back a bit to the resident doctor strike. I was going to say that I don't know how that skipped, but anyways, you see, when we're talking about making sure that government infrastructure works, many times we don't realize how what we do contribute to the decline of operations or decline of the standard of most of these public facilities. These resident doctors, particularly on strike in these government hospitals and primary health cares and what have you. Now, the pressure is now going to be on the private hospitals. And you see, the thing is, most of these private hospitals do exceptionally well. Remember when we were having conversations about public-private schools, and in fact, it was with Nelfond where we were asking, these loans, is it going to ever get to private institutions? And he said something. The reason that we even have private institutions in the first place is because we have these public institutions not moving or not operating up to standard. Now, just to cover up for the inadequacies of these public institutions, the private institutions came about. And if you can see the statistics of private schools we have these days in Nigeria, it is way above that of the public schools which we have. And these people operate exceptionally well because they charge a certain amount, and based on what they have collected, they try to reintegrate that in the development of their school.
Yes.
So you would see most private institutions functioning a lot better than the public institutions. In fact, if you ask every growing kid, one of their primary wishes for tertiary institution would not be the public institutions, would be private institutions. And we are seeing the same thing play out in the healthcare sector. You see, the resident doctors have threatened strike, nurses have threatened strike countless times. As a matter of fact, they've gone on strike countless times this year, right? And you see, because of these inadequacies in this public sector, there would be an automatic shift from there to the private sector. So you will see an emergence of more private hospitals here in Nigeria that are ready to carry on the responsibility and focus on reworking the inadequacies of the public hospitals or the public primary healthcare centers to their hospitals.
Right.
And you see, then the government infrastructures will almost mean next to nothing because they are not working on it. The private institutions are learning from their mistakes and working on that which they cannot do. So you would see the power dynamic moving from the public sector to the private sector. It's the same thing with education. It's the same thing we are seeing with the healthcare sector. It's the same thing we are seeing in the oil and gas sector as well. And I don't know how we do not trace these patterns and how we don't understand these patterns or study the trajectory of these things to fix now the private or the public institutions so that they can function up to par. I mean, it's very worrisome that we see these things happen and we don't care about how we can constantly put or permanently put an end to these power dynamics that we continue to see shift, where private sectors now have the upper hand in making decisions in different sectors.
Right.
It's a tornado, or how they call it, it's a hurricane.
It is.
It's taking over the education, it's taking over the oil and gas sector, it's taking over the healthcare right now. Who know what institution might be next?
Right. And if you look at it, Nigerians are the ones bearing the brunt of it, because if you get onto a private hospital, you're going to pay very high amount of money to actually be able to access good health care. And that's why we keep calling on the government to ensure that come to a compromise quick before doctors, lecturers, everyone that works within the private within the public sector, before they go on strike. There's no need for you to allow them go to strike before you begin to call them for a dialogue and conversation and going to back and forth. No, that's not the way to go. But that being said, right now we're going on a break, and we'll come back to be time for the Human Chronicles. Do stay with us.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language, from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. The sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umuahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Caesar Radio.
Glad to have you back on Rapid on this beautiful Monday morning. And right now it is time for the Human Chronicles, where we're going to tell you stories behind humanity. And this popular aphorism says that love is a beautiful thing, you know, and of course, lots of persons will say to you, love is the foundation upon which every great relationship thrives. But today, we're going to spotlight a story that says otherwise. This is supposed to be a love story, but it didn't end the way that we expected it to end. And so we're spotlighting the story, the tragic story of Akolade and Titilayo Arowolo, you know, who got married, and their marriage lasted for 3 years, and after that we saw that there was a murder in the marriage. But let's go ahead and watch the narration of the story. When we come back, we're going to dissect the story together. Do stay with us.
Jesus! Only myself. I am believer. I cannot be condemned. Yes. I cannot die. I did not do it, therefore I cannot be in the name of Jesus.
It was on an ordinary Friday in July when Akolade Arowolo was seen by a close neighbor walking hurriedly out of his apartment. He was in such a hurry that he shouted at the gate man to open the gate, in a manner that would signify that he was running out of patience. One look at him and the neighbor was shocked to the bones. What shocked the neighbor was not the fact that Akolade was running out of the apartment that he shared with his wife, but the fact that his hands were covered in blood, with what appeared to be serious injuries on them. Now, if this was a domestic accident, the most likely thing to be happening would be Akolade's wife Titilayo trying to rush him to the hospital or to the nearest clinic. But Mr. Akolade's wife was nowhere to be seen. This whole occurrence piqued the neighbor's interest, but while she was still trying to make sense of what was unfolding in front of her, Mr. Akolade jumped into his car and zoomed off. Prior to this occurrence, Titilayo's sister, Folake, had tried reaching her sister via her mobile phone, but it was her brother-in-law, Akolade, that had picked the phone. He had said something in the nature of Titilayo not being available to take the call and had dropped the call. Some hours later, Folake had tried calling back again, but this time around no one picked the call. Several attempts to reach Akolade proved futile. Several hours had passed when Folake received a call from a family friend, stating that Akolade had been seen fleeing his apartment with his hands seriously injured and bleeding, and his clothes covered in blood. Immediately, Folake's heart sank. You see, Titilayo and Akolade had a very turbulent marriage. It was no news that the couple fought every other day. In fact, on several occasions, Titilayo had to leave her marital home to her parents' house because of the severity of the fight she had with her husband Akolade. In Folake's mind, this must be yet another fight between Titilayo and her husband. But what worried her was the fact that Akolade had been seen with several injuries on his hands. Folake quickly called the other members of the family, and an arrangement was made for Titilayo and her husband to be visited the next day. That same day, 3 policemen found Akolade's car at a junction, with a key left in the ignition, but Akolade was nowhere to be seen. On inspection of the car's interior, police found blood stains on the steering and on the chairs. The car was immediately impounded and taken to the station. At that time, police had no idea who the car belonged to. The very next day, Folake and the rest of the family visited Titilayo and Akolade at their residence. They tried knocking on the door severally, but no one answered. They peered through the window, but no one was seen in the apartment. At loss on what to do next, one of them suggested he entered the apartment via the ceiling of the neighbor's apartment. At this point, everybody's heart was pounding. There was an ominous feeling that something had definitely gone wrong. Continuous attempts by the family members to gain entrance into the apartment via the ceiling and the door finally proved fruitful, but nothing could have prepared them for the sights they were about to behold. A search of the couple's bedroom revealed Titilayo sprawled on the bed, dead. What was most disturbing was not the fact that she was dead, but the nature in which she must have died. For Titilayo's corpse bore injuries so graphic that it cannot be fully detailed in this video. The police were immediately notified, but when they got to the scene, even the most hardened of them was shocked and visibly shaken by what they saw. The police commenced investigation, into ascertaining how Titilayo ended up dead and in that state. They found a kitchen knife and 4 mobile phones. Autopsy reports revealed that Titilayo had been stabbed a total of 76 times. There was one primary suspect, Akolade Arowolo, and he was found, arrested, and taken in for questioning. The stories he would go on to tell police in order to absolve himself of the crime would leave many wondering. Akolade Arowolo was a 31-year-old man serving in the capacity of a youth pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Before joining Redeemed Christian Church of God, he was formerly a youth pastor at the Foursquare Gospel Church in Festac Town. He and Titilayo, 29, who worked as a staff member of Sky Bank, met in 2005 while he was undergoing his postgraduate studies in the Lagos State University. Although Akolade claimed to be an auditor, Titilayo's family stated that he was unemployed. The two had quickly become close after they met, and as often said, one thing led to another, and Titilayo found herself pregnant in 2008. According to Akolade, he had no intentions of marrying Titilayo, but due to societal and family pressure, he was forced to marry her just 3 months after the pregnancy was discovered. He stated that he was previously in a relationship with someone else whom he wanted to marry, and that Titilayo was just a friend, but somehow he became intimate with her, which was against his Christian faith, and that was how she returned months later to state that she was pregnant. The marriage between the both of them was turbulent. There was always bickering and quarreling and fighting. It soon spiraled into a case of domestic violence, with Titilayo's colleagues reporting that several times she would show up at work with bruises all over her body. Titilayo's father also said that Akolade had threatened several times to push Titilayo down from their 4-story building apartment. But Akolade claimed that all these were not true, that he and Titilayo merely had the normal fights that every couple have. He went further to claim that Titilayo was hot-tempered and irritable, that she would sometimes flare up when she didn't have her way with things. At moments like this, she was completely uncontrollable. According to Akolade, this attitude of Titilayo's often caused quarrels in the home, which forced him to seek the help of a friend, who advised him to always leave the house whenever Titilayo's anger issues began. Akolade had agreed and put the advice to test. On one fateful Friday, Akolade said he had left for a vigil. After the vigil, he refused to return home and instead went to stay with a friend, hoping that his wife would miss him and be worried about his whereabouts, but that didn't happen. When he did not receive any call from his wife, he rushed back home to know if everything was alright, only to find his wife in the company of a man whom she claimed to be her colleague at work. The man had hurriedly left the apartment. Akolade said he was forced to go through his wife's phone as he became suspicious of who the man truly was. According to him, he said he went through her phone records and discovered that she had called her father, her ex-boyfriend, and one other man. He said he had angrily questioned her why she didn't place a call to his number after he failed to return the previous night after the vigil, to which she answered she had no time. He then asked her how come she had the time to call the other people she had called, and she had angrily warned him never to go through her phone again. She had forcefully taken her phone from him and called her ex-boyfriend right there in his presence. Akolade had gotten so angry that he had taken the phone and smashed it, to which Titilayo retaliated by smashing his own phone as well. This whole issue had culminated to domestic violence, which caused Titilayo to take her things and leave for her parents' house. With many issues in their marriage, there was also the case of infidelity. A household member was said to have once caught Akolade in bed with another woman. The issue was reported to Titilayo, and she had angrily packed her things and left her matrimonial home for her parents' house. According to Titilayo's father, Titilayo had moved in with him more than 10 times during the duration of her marriage due to the series of misunderstandings with her husband, coupled with the domestic violence. During those times, Akolade would show up at the house begging for forgiveness. Titilayo would always forgive him and move him back with him. But when it came to the question of what actually happened to Titilayo, this is Akolade's version of how Titilayo died. On Friday the 24th of June 2011, which happened to be Akolade's birthday, Akolade claimed that he had woken up at 3 a.m. that morning and after praying had made love to his wife for over 2 hours. They then had a heart-to-heart talk about their marriage, where Titilayo promised to be a better wife and to never leave for her parents' house again if they had any marital issue. Akolade had gotten a call sometime that morning from his father to wish him a happy birthday. He also said he had gotten calls from several well-wishers. After that, he had gotten dressed and headed for the bank to withdraw some money, with which they would celebrate his birthday. On his way back, he had stopped by the mechanic to fix his car, as he and Titilayo had planned to use it to pick up their daughter from her grandparents. But much to his surprise, when he got home, he saw Titilayo fully dressed to go out. He had become angry because he and Titilayo had planned to stay home and watch TV in celebration of his birthday. He confronted her and an argument broke out. According to him, Titilayo had slapped him and then proceeded to call her father, asking him to warn Akolade to leave her alone. Things got really heated after this, and Titilayo had gotten hold of a knife with which she tried to attack her husband. She had been taking some alcohol, Akolade claimed, and her behavior that morning was nothing like he had ever seen before. He tried to calm her down, but she allegedly attacked him again with the knife. According to Akolade, he struggled to get hold of the knife and ended up getting deep cuts to his hands. Despite his injuries, he said that they both continued struggling until they finally fell on the bed and the knife slipped from Titilayo's hands. Akolade described how he desperately searched for a way to get help. The door was locked and he couldn't find the key. In his panic, he tried to break down the door using kitchen tools but could not succeed, so he eventually gave up. With no other option, he claimed he had jumped from their 4-story apartment to get away. He said his mechanic arrived at that moment and he got into the car and headed to the police station for help. On his way, he claimed that he had seen some police officers by the roadside. He had stopped to talk to them but was suddenly hit by a car from behind, causing him to lose consciousness. When he awoke the next morning, he said he had found himself at a dump site near a public school with no idea how he got there. Now, when asked how come his wife was found dead, he said that Titilayo had been under the influence of alcohol or some spiritual forces, and she had used the knife on herself. Now, his testimony baffled the police because Akolade's testimony was inconsistent with the evidence of the case. However, Akolade was arraigned before the magistrate court, but the case was later transferred to the Ikeja High Court. There, Akolade's testimony would be challenged, revealing a crime so heinous, it makes one wonder if there was an iota of love in Akolade's heart for his wife. The trial officially began in January 2012. A total of 15 people testified against Akolade, though he maintained his innocence. He claimed that he had been forced to write in a statement that the injuries on his wife were self-inflicted, which was impossible because she couldn't have done that to herself 76 times without the knife falling out of her hand at some point. The court found out that Akolade's testimonies were inconsistent with the facts and evidence of the case, and the majority of them were contradictory. His parents tried to save him by claiming that there was no history of domestic violence between Akolade and his wife, but the evidence, coupled with testimonies from various people, confirmed that indeed Akolade often beats his wife. Titilayo's father later revealed that Akolade's parents had asked him to withdraw the case from the court. He also revealed to journalists, alleging that his in-laws tried to cover up their son's crime by bribing the police to release Akolade's car to them, which they sold to hide incriminating evidence. However, it was the report of the pathologist regarding the forensic examination he conducted on Titilayo's remains that would seal Akolade's fate. This report ruled out the possibility of self-harm, nailing Akolade as the murderer. Therefore, Akolade had been the one that had done that to his wife 76 times. On the 21st of February 2014, almost 3 years after the crime was committed, Pastor Akolade Arowolo was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to death by hanging. Akolade, who showed up in court with his Bible, was unable to face the consequences of his actions. He broke down in tears on hearing the verdict. He could barely walk and was heard calling onto his late wife to come and vindicate him. But is this a case of justice or wrongful conviction? Because what I find surprising is that Akolade maintained that he was innocent throughout the case and even to this day. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think there is something the police might have missed that would somehow vindicate Akolade? Please drop your comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime content.
But of course, from this account, it wasn't a true love story.
It's not even love. It was never love, Victor. Victor likes love a lot.
No, see,
it was never love.
That's the point. It was supposed to be in that category.
It was never this.
But again, yeah, go on with your thoughts.
This isn't even about love in the first place at all. This is about poor choices. This is about decisions. It's not even. There was no love here. From the start of the story, there was nothing connected to love here. It was just two people wanting to have fun. At the end of the day, one person got pregnant and realized that this person didn't love them. What reputation are you trying to protect when you visibly got in there? You guys didn't love each other. There's no love there. From the start to the end, there's nothing that points that these people actually loved each other. They were just two people that wanted to have fun, and at the end of the day, one fell pregnant. And when I keep saying this thing all the time, you don't make a decision to spend the rest of your life with somebody just because you got pregnant for that person. That's self-harm, if you ask me, because that person might not want the same thing. Although the natural order of things is supposed to be that the both of you love each other, and the both of you like each other, and that's the reason you want to spend the rest of your life with each other, not because you got pregnant for them. If at all you can get pregnant for a person, then you must love the person. But you see how twisted the narrative of society is right now. Whether you love them or not, you can get pregnant for them, or they can get pregnant for you. And it doesn't mean that anything is going to happen at the end of the day. But that was poor. That was a very poor choice, because you already saw the traits. You cannot deny the fact that this person is abusive, yet you got in there. What about the parents that kept sending their child back after seeing bruises and cuts on the child, and sending the child back for someone who batters them? Poor choices. Poor parenting choices, poor choices of partnership, and poor choices of escape. You felt trapped. Whether you are in a church or in a mosque, your happiness is paramount. Walk away from that. I don't care what my church people think. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Whatever my pastor or whatever church says, it's not going to play right in this situation. You don't love me, I don't love you, I don't feel the same way with you. I should not be compelled to. These were the olden days of doing things. Punishing people with a lifetime commitment, it does not make any sense.
Not at all. And of course, you mentioned parents. According to the account of the story, 10 times this lady has gone back to her parents' house. 10 times, according to that account, after she has been beaten. And then the man will always come back at the door, and then will knock, he will apologize, and she will go back to his house over times. And what baffles us most is that you follow the account of that story. On his birthday, they woke up this morning, they had a conversation. Let's make our marriage work, according to the account of the story. And it was that same day, that after they had the conversation of trying to make their marriage work, trying to see if they can revive whatever little thing that they had together as it is. It was that same day that this whole thing, took, this drastic, terrifying turn that led to the death of this beautiful young lady who was a banker at the time. And up until now, we saw, I watched some other videos on this particular account. I kept seeing this young man praying in the courtroom, saying that he did not do it, calling on God to justify him, And of course, this very account also said that when the verdict was passed, he kept on calling on the name of his dead wife, come and vindicate me. You know, like the spirit of the wife was going to come on board and say, my husband did not kill me. You know?
even the same God is calling said not everybody calls him actually knows him.
Very true.
You see, so it doesn't even prove anything.
Right.
It doesn't prove anything. But there's something you said. I was trying to pick up a line of thought from what you were saying.
Yeah.
You know, from the account of the story saying that he didn't do it. He kept. There's something we call grooming. It's the same thing with serial killers, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with murderers, and it's the same thing with people who sexually assault people. They groom them first of all.
Yeah.
And by grooming, I mean with words. Oh, fine girl. Oh, pretty girl. You're fine. Your shape is fine. All of that. These abusers always groom their how they call it, their victims.
Yes.
They groom their victims and put them in an illusionary point of comfort with them
and
before
safety.
Before they take on the action. It's the same thing he was doing. He groomed her before he murdered her. Oh, let's work on our marriage so that all fingers will lead to the fact that we were actually good, though.
Yeah.
But you see what happened at the end of the day. It's the same pattern. They groom before they attack. The same thing with murderers. The same thing with sexual assault. People with rapists. It's the same thing. They groom before they clamp on their prey, so on their victims. So you see, it's the same thing. It didn't mean anything. Whether you guys had a good time, you killed that. And the truth is, he wasn't even wise, because how do you stab someone 76 times?
I mean,
it couldn't have been self-harm.
Come on,
it couldn't have been self-harm. How can somebody inflict such pain on themselves 76 times? What explanation do you have to that scenario? You were not there, but you were there.
His testimonies were actually very much inconsistent. Very inconsistent.
It's very unfortunate. And the fact that people call the name of God or Allah should never be the reason that you spend the rest of your life with them. Don't even make that mistake.
Not at all.
The fact that people say something does not mean you should take their word for it. Absolutely not.
Nope.
The world is a lot different from what it sees, or what you see, or people are a lot different from who they say that they are. It's not to breed trust issues or lack of trust, but it's just to be careful, just to alert you, to let you know that there are evils that exist within the world that you live in, that you cannot just get it by looking at a person. Some people have evil ingrained in their system, and it takes one or two scenarios to bring that out. He already showed you that he was an abuser. He already showed you that he could hurt you by beating you multiple times. The parents failed her. She failed herself. The husband failed her. Maybe society failed her too.
Surely.
But
such is our story. Such is our story, and we hope that people can do better. If you're tired of the marriage, I think the best thing to do is walk away, other than killing someone in that particular marriage. This is all we're going to take on this segment of the program this morning. We'll step out right now for Victor Ijoma to step in and give us the thrilling updates in the world of sports that happened over the weekend. By 9 o'clock, we're going to be back here for the big conversation. Just stay with us.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language, from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. The sound of your city, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umuahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Siso Radio.
Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nightcomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. Go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umuahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nightcomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN.